Hi, everybody. Let's share this out. How is everybody doing tonight? Hey, Mike. Turn your volume up. Okay. Let me see if I can hear you. Hi.
Hi there. I brought a friend with me.
Aw, Donald. Is I was gonna say, have you used them? Have you sipped out of them?
No, I have not.
I can only imagine how hard they are to clean.
Yeah, he doesn't look like he'll be all that cooperative of doing so.
Ducks do like the water, but but
It would be enough.
so I've been, I was just watching documentaries this afternoon, really taking it easy. And I came to my phone and I had a notification from Disney about the pass holder preview for Moana. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this? And, I can't find, I need to like look and see, but yeah, we got a notification.
Yeah, go ahead and take it. You too.
But how have you been today?
Today's been my best day this week.
Good. You feeling a little bit rested?
Do feel better? Yes. I was pretty rough Monday. Tuesday was a really bad day. Yesterday was a little bit better, and today's much better.
Okay, good. Good.
How are you feeling?
I am doing, hi Randy. I'm doing, I would say like around 3 o'clock. I feel like I just kept drinking warm tea all day. And hey Tina, and I feel much, much better last night. And of course, I thought I was going to wake up and take some Tylenol and, be on my way. But the Tylenol or Advil just was not like easing up the pain on the left side of my throat. So, hey, Christine. So, I feel much, much better. But again, I think it has to do with like the rest.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. But now, be honest with me. Warm tea.
No, warm tea, no hot toddy. Like I have water. Can you see? Just so you know, I have water. Water.
They say that tequila looks just like that.
Really? Hi, Tina. Thank you. I did. You guys, I did not move from the couch today. I watched a Michael J. Fox documentary on Apple. It was really good. And then we just finished watching like the Beastie Boys, which, I had no idea. So it's been a documentary day for me.
That's quite a range from Michael J. Fox to the Beastie Boys.
I know. It was just what was next. There was not a lot of thinking going on. Hot toddies are the best. I'm sure they are. Tina, so Tim was going to the Tim, my husband was going to the grocery store and he was like, is there anything I can get? And I was like, let me Google what can help my throat. And it was like number 9, hot toddy. So, hey, Robbie. Yeah, I've had like and I wouldn't even call it like a full blown like cold. Like not really anything other than, I had drainage on Monday and stuff like that, but every day my throat has gotten a little worse, a little worse, a little worse. And so last night I was like, I don't know, I didn't wake up in the morning feeling refreshed. So
there's a lot of stuff going around.
There is. I test, like, whenever I didn't feel well, I did all the tests, the necessary tests, just to make sure, and it was none of that. So, hey, Chris.
Well, that's good. So I would also have to take a psychological test, and I would fail that.
So, strep can come when so I guess I just feel like I just kept going every single day. And then even yesterday, I don't know what I was doing on the live, and I would go to talk and I just know my throat was or my voice, I would just lose a little bit more each day. So
Yeah, I thought it sounded like that a couple days ago when you were live.
yeah,
Used a couple times. I just remember thinking to myself, gosh, I hope she's not coming down with something.
right. Yeah, and it was so funny because even like the week before, I was like, my throat's scratchy. And again, I thought allergies, allergies. And then, like I said, like last night, it just got to the point where it wasn't allergies anymore.
Yeah, Robbie, you're right. That change from 120-degree heat index to 100-degree heat index, it's a big season change for Janelle down there.
Hi, Imram. How are you? Hi, Karen. I met Karen the other day, and we were just rewatching that video today, too. That's when you came on, Mike, and you were like, I love friend encounters. I met Karen. So, yeah.
Very cool.
Nice meeting you, too, Karen.
I'm assuming that Rom, when she said friends, she met you and Donald.
I don't think that that's what she meant, Mike.
Hey, Tasha, how are you?
I don't think. Hi, Tasha. How are you? I missed everyone. Yes, you're so welcome for the sticker. It's my little thing that I can give out. I need to be able to give out more. You get a gift card and you get a gift card. That's what I wish I could do.
The Oprah of Disney.
Yes, yes, yes. People would be flocking to me.
Sure they would.
Okay. So what topic do we want to start with tonight? Look, Emram said, oh, look, Donald.
Donald is a candy corn. That's right.
So, yeah. So I got that candy corn last year. This year in the parks, the white part of him, he glows in the dark now. They did switch it up. So.
This one doesn't glow in the dark?
The new ones glow in the dark, yeah. That one does not. Okay. He does. So, what,
So we have a lot.
We do.
Like, I have like 45 topics here.
I know. You
wanted to talk about a partridge in a pear tree.
Did I? Hey, road trip. We need to get Mike the glow in the dark one, yeah. And then we can raffle that one back off and then just give Mike the new one. Or I should just get 2 new ones.
Regifting if we give this one back.
Yeah.
So here's the list, Janelle, that I wrote down, and I made copious pages of notes in case you weren't feeling up to talking much tonight. I was going to take one for the team and do all the talking. Like that isn't always the case. So the Disney cruise ship, the new one, you wanted to talk about that a little bit. Unicourse had asked us to talk a little bit about DAS Pass. I know we've done that in the past, but I took some notes down on some different things to talk about DAS Pass-ish related kind of stuff. I wanted to talk about the current promotions. A brand new one just came out for the rest of this calendar year, and then a new bounce back one for trips in 2024 has come out, so I'll talk about those.
Okay.
It's Lala asked to talk about pros and cons of staying on property versus staying on the Good Neighbor resorts or hotels, and then probably just throw in off property as well. We're going to talk about the dining plans that are coming next year. I know we've done that before, but we'll talk about that again. Just to comment on the fact that reservation system is changing in 2024 for if and when you need it. Unicourse had also suggested talking about the different items that are prohibited or banned at the parks.
Okay.
Brooke had suggested talking about packing must-haves and things that you can skip on packing.
Yep.
And then I think it was also it's Lala that suggested talking about Walmart delivery or food deliveries.
Yes.
And I think that was the list. Oh, and then I can't remember who. I'm sorry. It was somebody who's on here now had asked if we'd ever talked about D23.
Okay, we have
So,
not ever talked about. Oh, and so Karen, I was just telling Mike the preview for pass holders and for DVC. I had just gotten a notification on my phone, and I was trying to find it. Like I guess it's probably somewhere in the app, but it just didn't. When I clicked on it, it just didn't pop it right up. So, anyways, let's start with the new stuff that you wanted to talk to about the new offers.
oh, so you're going to change the order of stuff I have here, huh? Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, then you want to go in your order?
Well, yeah, let's just do this here. This way it'll be easier.
Okay, that's fine.
I'll be repeating stuff. So the first one you want to talk about was the new Disney ship called the Treasure.
Treasure.
It will set sail for the first time in December of 2024. So it's a little over a year away. Bookings for the general public start on September 20th, which is about 2 weeks away, roughly 2 weeks from yesterday, I think.
Yeah.
2 weeks from yesterday. Oh, quick shout out. Tomorrow's Briggs's 1 month birthday. Just throw that out there.
Yeah. Okay.
Incredible. So sailings begin on December 2024. Bookings can start here next month or later on this month. If you're like a Pearl member or Gold member or some status, you can.
Pearl is the top one.
The top one, yep. The Treasure will do 7-night Eastern and Western Caribbean itineraries only, and it will only depart out of Canaveral.
Okay.
From a ship perspective, it's the same size as the Wish, has about room for 4,400 passengers. I think another 1,500 for crew. So it's about the same size as the Wish.
Yeah, it is. It's an exact replica of the Wish. So.
And Disney's got another ship that they're working on that they actually bought that was partially completed from another company.
Okay.
That one I think is set for 2025. And that one I think, now depending on how Disney renovates the inside of it, when it was purchased by Disney, it was designed to hold like 8,000 people, so double the size of the Wish or the Treasure. But I'm sure that once they do their theming and so forth inside, that'll whittle down some. But still will likely be the largest ship of the fleet.
Wow. Okay.
And since I just said the word fleet, should I just give answers or should I ask questions and let people guess?
Let's let people guess.
Right. So
let's have some interaction.
I'm going to use the word fleet, but you have to use it somewhat loosely to think of all of the different watercraft that Disney has. Now, when I say watercraft, I don't mean the boats that are going in Small World, for instance. That's not watercraft. But you think about the pontoons, the speedboats, canoes, all of the watercraft that Disney has and owns worldwide, they are, let's see, I'm going to make my range wide enough. They are considered in the top 20 worldwide naval fleets. Okay, top 20. So the question is, in that ranking of 1 through 20 of worldwide naval fleets, how big is Disney compared to the likes of the United States and whoever around the world? Karen says number 5. So
well, and you're saying in all of Disney. I'm going to go, my gut is 2, but I think I'm going to say 3. I'm going to say 3.
Karen said 5. Road Trip says 3. I know the answer, but then you're going to ask me who is ranked ahead of them, and I don't have that.
Okay.
I could have a pretty good guess to at least a couple of them.
Okay.
All right. Robbie says 16.
Well, the fact that you don't know the ones ahead of them, but it could still just be 2 of them.
Could be 2. It could be 19 of them, right?
It could, right? But the fact that you're like, oh, I don't know, I mean, you're going to ask, makes me think that's not that big of a number.
Now, since Janelle's under the weather, she's not giving away a gift this week like she did last week. Luckily, you won last week, so you didn't have to.
Yes. Evidently, I'm not going to win again today. I think that was the giveaway.
I assume when you looked up remedies for your sore throat and Tim asked, you were going to tell him, "Oh, look at that! A trip to the Bahamas is one of the top 10 things that will help a sore throat."
Should have.
uh, well, hello, Kate. How are you?
Hey, Kate, how was your day today? Hopefully, I'm going to see you tomorrow, Kate. I was home not feeling well today, so
So, Kate, if you see her tomorrow, keep your distance.
yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Cough again. Now go ahead. I'm gonna put a mask on my phone so I'm safe. All right. So the Disney Naval Fleet is the fifth largest in the world. So I've obviously the United States is ahead of them. Karen, you heard me the other
I'm
day.
sorry. I know.
Start medicating immediately, Karen.
Some vitamin C.
There you go. And my grandma swore on vitamin C when I was a kid. I ate those things like candy. So clearly, the United States is one of the largest naval fleets in the world. I would have to imagine Japan is probably ahead of Disney. I would almost even, this may sound odd, but I would almost think that Australia has a larger naval fleet. That's their strength when it comes to China, India, Russia. Robbie says, yeah, I'm sure I could Google it or somebody already has. But I just thought it was pretty cool that Disney is considered to have the fifth largest naval fleet in the world.
Right.
Unfortunately, if they had to go to battle, I don't know if any of those ships are going to survive because they're not equipped with anything to defend themselves.
Well,
their cruise ships could shoot off fireworks. That might work.
I know Mike is looking through his bifocals. He's not being lazy like this.
Right, I'm not doing this. I was. I'll go to bed later with a kink in my neck for doing this.
So I have a question. And my question, because I've not ever booked something so far out, has anybody booked something, again, I wouldn't go for that very first sailing, but I would love to go on the second sailing, which is like sometime in January 2025. Like, I find it so crazy that on September 20th, I would have to put down a deposit for something in 2025. And I've never done something like that before.
So I'm not exactly sure they answered your question, or if you asked a question, if it was more.
Well, I asked, like, has anybody done that? And is it okay? Like, I guess, is that what trip insurance is for? Or what if it turns out I can't go? Or I guess that's what I'm, like, questioning. Or what if I sign up for 4 people and I need 5?
Yeah. So there are cancellation policies with the cruises where you can get money back. It's not as forgiving as, say, a trip to Disney World where you can cancel up to 30 days. I don't remember exactly how far out it is, whether it's 3 months or 6 months. So there's some flexibility, but absolutely. If you're going to book something that is a year out, I mean, today's Thursday. I don't know what I'm doing on Saturday, let alone a year plus away. So trip insurance might not be a bad way to go.
Okay. Well, and I mean, I guess my whole thing was like, whew, what could happen to, like, your family? And when I mean happen to your family, like, grow, extra people, marriage, you know, like, and I'm like, so I don't want to just go with 10. I'd love to just be like, oh, there's 5 of us, you know? Hey, Brooke.
It's like you're using my family as your example of growing and weddings.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm like, that's just crazy. How do I plan for this? And like, I know this is like the time that I'm baffled. What do I do?
Yep. You want to answer Tina's question, or do you want me to answer it?
Oh, you can, where do you can answer it.
From your favorite travel agent.
Yes. Okay. You planned one for 8 that way? Okay. Oh. Can you book at the last minute? I mean, I think the answer would be probably not the Treasure. Like, I don't know. But for anything else, probably, Robbie, I don't know. Like, if he wanted to go on the Wish.
I don't even know if you could get the Wish last minute, Robbie.
Okay.
The Dream and the Fantasy, those I'm quite certain you could probably pretty close to last minute.
Okay.
Tina, I would love to work with you on your Disneyland trip. Absolutely.
You're gonna, if you choose to do that, Tina, you're gonna have a great time. Mike is excellent with helping. Like I said, Mike has helped me get onto the Wish, and next week is out, Robbie. But yes, Robbie, I'm like trying to tell everybody that we need to have our ducks in a row for September the 20th, so I can tell Mike how many people do I need to have with me. Look, we'll have over a year to pay for it, right, Mike?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Our cruises you do have to pay in full earlier than the 30 days like you do
Right.
on Disney World or Disneyland. But again, I'd have to look and see whether it's 60 days or 90 days out, something along those lines. Yes, exactly. Road trip. That's exactly right. But yes, on the 20th, we could all, is it too bad the 20th is not a Thursday? We could have a booking party.
We could have a booking party. Oh no, yeah, but on the 20th, we need to all have this together with our deposits.
Are we doing a group cruise? So,
No, not yet.
We've kind of talked about it, but not for probably 2025.
Right.
So that's quite a ways out. We're not ready to plan that yet. I can't swim. I'm gonna pass. Well, Rum, you don't have to swim to the boat. They have a little.
They have a walkway.
Absolutely, yeah. And I'm laughing and joking, but in all seriousness, Rum, I'm the kind of person that I need to see my feet in water. So if I'm getting into the ocean, like the water's going up to maybe my thigh, that's about it. I'm not a big water person when it comes to that sort of thing. I need a lot of spicy Gatorade. I will tell you, we've been to Cancun twice, and we stayed at the same resort both times. I'm a creature of habit. When I find something I like, I'm going to stick with it. If you're going to spend that kind of money, I want to make sure that it's something I appreciate. And I just remember they had buoys set up, I don't know, probably 300, 400, 500 feet out in water, and that was a marker for that's as far in as the boats could come. And I don't mean cruise ship boats, but like speedboats, that sort of thing. And I just remember my two older boys had decided, hey, let's swim out to the buoy and back. And I started swimming with them, and I got halfway, and all of a sudden this realization of a freaking shark could come up behind me and I'd never see it. So I turned around and swam back in. Of course, the whole way back in, that same shark was coming up on me the whole way. So I'm right there with you from a water perspective.
Aww.
But I freaking loved our Disney cruise. I think I told this story last time we talked about this. I'd never been on a cruise. The idea of taking a cruise was something I really didn't like the idea of. I felt like I'd be claustrophobic on the ship with all you could see was water and nothing else. But we hadn't even left port yet, and I was ready to book another cruise. It truly is an amazing experience. And look, Rum, if you're not a water fan, there's so much you can do on that ship and hardly ever see the water.
Yeah. If the boat sinks, is that covered on insurance? Yes.
Robbie, they will replace your clothes.
Hey, Jessica. Thank you for stopping by.
Yes. Okay. Should we keep going, or did you have more questions?
No, that's it. When we get closer to the date, hey,
here's my thing. I like you said, you wouldn't want to be the first voyage on the brand new ship. I wouldn't either. And because of that, I don't know whether I'd a year out be willing to book the second trip or the third voyage. You know, I'd almost want to have a month or two of travel out of that ship and bugs worked out before I plan to book my trip on it. But that's just thinking out 15 months ahead of time right now. I don't know. I might feel differently.
I'll tell you why I don't want to be on the first voyage. The first voyage is December 21st, 2024. That's going to hit into Christmas. And I get some people would love that. Hey, Brandon. But I wouldn't want that. And then, like you said, it has 3 different itineraries. That first one is going to Mexico. I have no desire to go to Mexico, but the next one is going to the Virgin Islands and, you know, St. Kitts and stuff like that. And I would rather go there. And that's why I would rather be on the second one.
Well, when you say it's going to Mexico, my guess is it's going to Cozumel.
Yeah, it is. I think so.
I know Cozumel is Mexico, but I don't think of Mexico when I hear Cozumel.
Okay. Well, I do. Like, I just don't want to go there.
It's an island off the coast.
Okay. Okay.
You could be on the shore in Cancun, and maybe on a clear day or with binoculars, you can see some of the land. It's probably 50 miles offshore.
Okay.
So anyway, so that's on the treasure. Again, first voyage is December 2024. It's 7-night excursions only. And I guess that's something else. If you've never been on a cruise ship before, I don't know that I'd book a 7-night cruise, because if it's not your cup of tea, it's going to be the longest 7 days of your life.
100% agree. And I am a little leery of the 7 days because I feel like that 3 to 4 days is, my kind of thing. Like, that's it. That's my limit. But for a new cruise and all of that, I'm thinking I can tough it out the 7 days. Brandon wants to know, do any of them go to St. Martin? I don't remember. I can look it up though.
At least a couple of itineraries that do. But again, if you've never taken a cruise before, I would do a 3-night or 4-night cruise for your first try, your first time. And then if you love it, then a 7-night would probably be right up your alley. All right.
We can move on.
Okay, so that was number 1. Number 2 on the list was about DAS passes and the process. And I don't know if Unicourse is on or not. She was the one who asked about it.
I don't know
this is approximately the time she's putting her daughter to bed. So if you want to postpone that conversation,
okay,
we can do that. I got to throw a cough drop in my mouth real quick.
See, maybe you're the one that got me sick last week.
You're the one sneezing and coughing on me on the phone. I didn't do that to you. I'm blaming that doggone trip to St. Louis about killed me. All right, so the third item was promotions. There are a handful of current promotions going on right now. He sent the sickness through the Bluetooth. Yeah, exactly, Brandon. My wife's not even home. I'm getting blamed for stuff. This is not right. All right, so there are a handful of promotions that are happening, that have been in place, that are still ongoing. There was a brand new one that was just announced in the last day or two. And then we can talk about the bounce back for 2024. So a couple of the current ones that have been going on for a couple months now, if you're a Disney Plus subscriber, they have up to 35% off of room stays for most nights between October 22nd and November 2nd, and then between November 26th and Christmas Day. So that's a really good one, up to 35% off resort stays. I'll tell you, at tiers, if you're staying at a deluxe resort, you're likely getting the 35%. It's usually then 30% for moderate and 25% for value resorts, but still really, really good deal. If you're not a Disney Plus subscriber, they have a promotion running for stays October 2nd through December 25th of 25% off rooms, regardless of what category room you're at. I'm going to take a drink.
Okay.
The new promotion that they just came out with, it's for, I'll give you some of the information and I'm going to tie it back to something that's actually happening right now. It's called the Dining Promo Card. It's for most arrivals between, there's a few of them, October 27th and November 1st, November 25th and the 29th, and then December 9th through the 25th. Disney had a very similar promotion to this earlier this year for resort stays that are happening like right now. And basically, you had a minimum number of night stays and a minimum number of park day tickets that you had to purchase. And you got, you paid the standard rate for the room and tickets. But for each night stay, you got a dollar amount put onto a Disney dining card that you could use at quick service, at table service, for snacks, buying your drink mug, whatever it is. So you cannot combine them with any other offers. So if you happen to have the Disney Plus subscriber promotion that you booked for, you can't combine it with this. But non-discounted room rate for this promotion for value resorts, you get a $60 per night credit on a Disney dining card.
Okay.
If you're at a moderate resort, it's $120 per night. And if you're staying at a deluxe resort, it's $200 per night. So for argument's sake, if you wanted to go the week of Christmas and stay for 5 nights and you booked at the Poly, we'll just pick that one out of the air, you'd have a $1,000 dining gift card waiting for you when you check in to essentially pay for your meals for the week.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
It is. I mean, I was looking at this, even the $60 per night for the value resort. If you're a family of 4,
Right.
that $60 covers breakfast at your resort for the 4 of you. One of your quick service meals is free.
Right.
So that one just came out. And then they also announced a bounce back promotion.
Okay.
Prior to COVID, they would run these frequently. And I remember these. We'd check in, and in our resort room, there would be marketing material that say, book your next trip before you check out,
Right.
and you get this discount on that trip.
Okay.
This is the same kind of concept. It's called a bounce back. But they did make one change. Prior to COVID, you had to call while you were still in your resort room before you checked out to book your next trip to get the promotional rate.
Oh, wow.
Now
Okay.
you have up to 7 days from your checkout day to book. So that's one thing that's changed that's, I think, is an advantage.
Right.
Because I bet a lot of people are like, heck yeah, let's book. And they book and they get home and unpack and they're like, what are we doing? We can't go on another trip, whatever. The other thing is the percentages are actually better than they have been in the past. So for the current bounce back promotion, if you go, again, you're staying sometime in 2023 this fall, you check out within 7 days, you book a trip for most nights in 2024. There are some blackout periods. If you stay at a deluxe resort, you're getting 35% off the room rate. A moderate resort is 30% off, and a value resort is 25% off. Prior to COVID, bounce back promotions were usually up to 25% for deluxe resorts. So it's much better this year than last year.
Okay. So Megan's here for the treasure talk. Are you like done with that, or do you have more to add to that?
That's about it.
Okay. Well, I do have the ports for the treasure.
Okay.
Tortola, British Virgin Islands, St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands, and Castaway Cay. That's one. Cozumel, Mexico, Georgetown, Grand Cayman, Falmouth, Jamaica, and Castaway Cay. And then Tortola, British Virgin Islands, San Juan, Puerto Rico, and Castaway Cay. So those are the, and then from what I can see, like in pricing, that one goes to San Juan, like that one's the most expensive of all of them. So I like the second or the third route too, Megan. We're going to have a booking party on the 20th with Mike.
Exactly. And it's going to go much better than trying to get Oogie Boogie night.
Oogie Boogie, yes. When everybody was at Oogie Boogie and I see all the social media on it today, because it was like a couple nights ago, a lot of FOMO. Like I was like, that could have been us. We didn't get it.
Road trip, your question. So the new Disney Treasure ship is only 7-night cruises.
Yep.
The 3 and 4 night cruises are on the older ships.
7-night Eastern and Western Caribbean from Port Canaveral. So does Disney do 10 days or not? There is a 10-day.
Yes.
However, I think that the transatlantic one is the 10-day.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Which looks amazing, and every time I look at the price, which I know it gets you over there and you got to get yourself back, and I understand that, but just the price to get you over there seems very reasonable.
I don't know. The last ship I heard about that went across the ocean like that was the Titanic. So,
Really? Really?
um,
Megan
uh,
wants to know who else is booking. Well, so Kate Cicerone was live this morning on that actual cruise. So I'm like, oh, it looks amazing.
one thing I find it kind of interesting is the two newest ships, the Wish and the Treasure, are going to continue to go to Castaway Cay. The older ships are going to port at Disney's newest private island that they're still assembling, if you will.
Right, right.
So right now, Megan, it's you, me, and Janelle that are booking.
Yeah. Tim wants to go. I don't know about Lori. Is that including our significant others?
I guess we have to. She's not here.
She's not there.
She's not watching.
Bye, Kristen. Christine, thank you for being here.
See ya.
Party with me and the crew. Yeah. Party with the crew. Yeah. So, Megan, so I did ask, like, can you get your money back? And they said yes. So, again, there's like dates to where you can get your money back. But
we were very concerned about Megan getting her money back that she's going to put up for our trip.
Yes. 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 So that's you're not booking a cruise until you move to Florida. Yeah. I mean, again, and we've talked about that previously, as far as, what it entails for you to be somewhere else and have to fly and trust the airlines that you're going to get here, and stuff like that. Living in Florida, it's completely different. Knowing that we can just drive there and we don't have to rely on an airplane getting us somewhere on time.
Absolutely. Fly down the day before.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
And depending upon where you live, you might want to try to consider flying out of a major hub. That way, if there are flight cancellations, you've got a lot more options. And Robbie, I'm thinking of you and a couple trips ago when you tried to get down there for a long weekend and you lost the whole day because of the limited options you had.
Exactly. I mean, but that's the same coming here to Florida. If you fly into Sanford with Allegiant or one of those airlines, like the same thing could happen to you coming here. Yeah, you want to fly into MCO and get one of those bigger airports.
Absolutely. So. Now, keep in mind, Disney does take cruises out of ports outside of Canaveral. So you don't necessarily have to fly to Florida, depending on where you're at. I mean, if you live in Texas, you can go down to Galveston and take a Disney cruise out of Galveston. So there's flexibility there, depending upon where you live in the country.
I know the other day, Jessica was saying that out of New York, she wants to take one. So definitely. And I was like, that's amazing. Like there is enough people up, north that they could have that. So yeah, Robbie, they have one from New York. Yeah, that's the one Jessica wants to go on. Yes, it's the Marvel. Okay. Because she wants me to go to New York and then get on the cruise with her.
So I'm pretty sure if we're all going to go cruising together, we're coming to Florida to do it. What she doesn't know, though, is we will all fly down the night before, and we're all going to camp out at Janelle's house, and then go to the Canaveral.
I'll let Chase know what's happening. All my friends from the internet are coming over.
Yeah. Okay, just don't tell Tim; it'll be a surprise.
Something tells me he would just be like, "What's happening?" Okay. Of course, you're doing something crazy.
Yep.
So.
All right. Should we keep going?
Yep. Let's go. That's our treasure. We're moving on from the treasure. Right, we'll do potluck. Yeah. So we'll readdress this next week when it gets closer to the to the dates
Yes,
that we'll
absolutely.
keep talking about it.
So I know again, Unicourse had asked about DAS. I don't know if she's joined yet, so we can hold off on that one.
Okay.
It's Lala was the one that asked about pros and cons on staying on property versus off property versus the good neighbors. I don't know if she's on or not, but we can go ahead and cover that. I think you still post these out
Yeah.
replays, don't you? Okay. So when you go down to Unicourse is here, says Tina. So maybe we can go back and do DAS and cover that. She's here, but she can't ask questions. She's a
okay. Well, let's talk about we'll do on and off property.
Okay.
We'll do those.
So there's really 3 categories of options when you travel down to Florida. There are the true Disney resorts, the value, the moderate, the deluxe resorts inside the Disney bubble. Then there are good neighbor resorts that are typically right near Disney Springs. And then there are your non-Disney associated hotels, motels, Airbnb, cousin Ricky's house down the street, whatever. So those are your 3 main options. Road Trip, hold that question. We'll come back to it. So I just scribbled a couple small quick notes. I don't have a long dissertation to cover all this. Hey, Nick, how are you? So resort, staying in a Disney resort, obviously you're inside the bubble. You have all of the Disney theming, whether it's true, Disney character theming or it's Caribbean theming or the poly, whatever it is. You've got the true Disney theme inside the bubble. You have all of the Disney transportation at your service. I got to cough and take a drink. Darn it, Janelle.
So I'll go back to Road Trip's question. I mean, I always go Coronado or the Swan and Dolphin or Swan Reserve because that's where I have stayed. I only ever recommend where I've stayed. Mike's stayed way more places on property that I have. But whatever I have been, I've been to the Drury with Robbie, Good Neighbor Hotel, and I've been to the Wyndham with Megan. Not stayed there, but I've been there to know enough about the properties.
I was going to say, you might want to clarify that I was at the Drury with Robbie.
Robbie, yeah. I had, what did we have, Rob? We had, this is all going to sound not, I have to word it right. Robbie invited me back. No. Robbie was, yeah. Robbie was staying at the Drury, and yes, you get free dinners. So we left the park, we went back to the Drury, we took advantage of the free dinners, and then we headed back over and took an Uber back, and we went back for fireworks. So, like I said, I've eaten. Megan and I have taken a tour. Kickback. There you go. Thank you, Robbie. Megan and I have taken a tour of the Drury as well, and then she has stayed at the Wyndham. So again, I've gotten a whole tour and I've had breakfast there as well. Megan took me back to the Wyndham. I have people who take me back to all kinds of hotels. So with that being said,
I got to be careful around you.
I know.
A couple weeks ago, you were going to start blaming me for women getting pregnant. That's another story. Okay, so let me get myself out of that mess. So resort stays and MREM, I saw that you're want the poly, but your bank account says Pop Century. I'm 1,000,000% with you there. So again, back to the Disney resorts. You're in the bubble, the theming, all of the transportation, the bus service, the boats that go from some of the resorts to the parks, to Disney Springs, the Skyliner, all of that is at your beck and call, and to me is such a huge advantage over the other options. You have the promotional rates, the promotions that I just read off a little bit.
I can't hear you.
You don't get the promotions offered.
I can't hear you.
You don't get the promotions. Can you hear me now?
Very bad echo.
I'm going to drop and hear me now.
It's an echo. All right. We'll wait for. Let me see. We'll see if he'll come back on. Oh, he might have gotten a phone call and then it sends it into that underwater thing. It's okay. He'll come back. He'll come back. I would say I will go into the part what I know about the Good Neighbor hotels, which their theming is amazing there as well. The Wyndham had all the 50th anniversary stuff when we were there, that the same. Okay, here, let me invite him back. Okay. We'll wait for him to come back. Okay. Hi. There.
I think that's better. Okay.
Oh, it is.
All right. So I missed whatever you were saying.
I was just saying I was going to talk about only what I knew, which was the Good Neighbor hotels have really good theming as well. And one of the things that I'm going to do, as far as like, again, what Disney allows the Good Neighbor hotels to do, I know we've talked about the transportation before, and Robbie we talked about it. Like the Drury, that bus comes exactly on the minute, and we had to take an Uber because we missed the bus. You know, we had the wrong time, or like I said, we just missed it by a couple minutes, and then it's a whole nother hour. Stuff like that. I think that is a downfall of the, Good Neighbor hotels. But the pricing and being able to use your points, and, if you stay at Marriott's everywhere else, but you can now go to the Swan and Dolphin for free, basically, because you have your points, that is, really worth it sometimes, especially when you have those points available. So.
Tina, I thought you meant DVC, but I was going to ask my doctor. So let me go through my list real quick, and then we can answer the couple of questions here. So what I was saying when I got cut off, I think, was the promotions that I rattled off. You're not going to get those at the Good Neighbor Resort. You're not going to get those in Airbnb, whatever. The proximity, and this kind of ties in with the transportation and the frequency of the transportation. If you've got littles and you need to get them back to your resort for a quick nap or a refresh or what have you, you'll get to your resort much faster if you're staying in the Disney resorts than if you have to wait for that hourly bus to get you to Drury or wherever it may be.
Right.
And then the other advantage, if you book something for, say, next January for a 7-night stay at a Disney resort, 60 days from your check-in, you can make all of your dining reservations for all 7 nights stay. Okay. If you're staying off property, you can book on 60 days out, that for check-in day, you can book dining. The next day, you're 60 days from day 2, you can book that dining. The next day, you're 60 days from day 3. So you have to get up at the crack of dawn 7 days to book your dining. Whereas staying on resort, you get up that first morning and you're booking for all 7 days. Hey, Jules.
Yeah, that's definitely a benefit too. I like it. Yeah, the pass holder, you can use your pass holder discount at the sister resorts to the Good Neighbor resorts as well. Megan is coming and she's staying at a Good Neighbor hotel for an excellent price. And after her trip is over, we'll talk about it. I'm not going to tell everybody where she's staying and stuff like that, but it's an excellent price and it's a Good Neighbor hotel. And if you're just coming in and you're really trying to do a budget, like, I can't believe, the prices that she's paying. So, and again, the bus and stuff like that, but we'll see. It'll be a whole new Good Neighbor hotel that we're going to check out.
Yep. So your Good Neighbors, you have a cost benefit, which we've mentioned a couple times. You still have some transportation to the parks. You still have the early morning entry to the parks. But the frequency of the transportation isn't as often as you have. Some of them have decent theming. Some of them aren't over the top Disney theming. If you've got a 2 or 3-year-old, you're not going to get Art of Animation theming. You're just not. And then again, that not having any of the promotionals that are available. Bedtime for kiddos, so I've been hopping in and out. That's okay, Brooke. We haven't even gotten to your list of stuff yet. Come back in 3 hours. We'll get to yours.
Yes, limited transportation, for sure. And I said one of the things, like at the Wyndham, again, it was, if you miss that bus, they had one bus going to one park every, morning, and you had to like reserve it. You had to like even let them know. And I was like, well, what if you want to change your park day? Like you couldn't,
That's a big deal, especially, again, I go back to if you've got littles and the bus isn't as frequent.
Right. Well, for Robbie, at least it was every hour. And I like that about the Drury. The Wyndham, it wasn't. It was in the morning and at night. And I was like, well, what if you want to come back in the middle? You have to Uber.
However, again, if you have littles, most Ubers don't have car seats. So that's a problem, right?
Right.
Okay, so offsite, non-Disney resort, non-Good Neighbors. Again, cost is probably a pro. If you're looking for like an Airbnb where I have a full kitchen, if you've got a family of 12 going, you can probably get pretty good deals there. And then it provides some flexibility. You could be in a property that's halfway between Universal and Disney, or halfway between SeaWorld and Disney, or whatever it may be. Provides you a little more flexibility. No promotional rates available for those. There's no transportation. You're driving yourself to the parks, which means you're paying the parking fees at the parks. And you're getting virtually no theming at that point.
Right.
So it's not a one size fits all, right? I mean, if money and saving money is your sole motivator, that's going to produce a different outcome than if you've got a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old that's going for the very, very first time, and you want them to fully immerse themselves in the Disney experience.
Right.
Parking fees, yes. Rental car, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
You're right, Robbie. I mean, that's another thing. Yeah, you save money staying off property, but you got to rent a car. And so now your savings plus paying to park at the parks each day might not be as big of a savings as staying at Pop Century or All Star Sports or whatever.
Right. Well, and then not only renting the car, the fuel, the tolls, all of that. Yeah, but you can take an Uber. Yep, every single day you can Uber back and forth.
I'm trying to scroll back because I know Road Trip had asked about favorite resort, and you'd answered based on your experience of what you stayed at.
Yep.
And it's kind of like asking what your favorite park, right?
Right. The one you're at. The one you're at the current time.
Right. Well, I mean, it's also depends on what side of the bed I wake up on in the morning as to how I'm feeling. But from a value resort perspective, to me, I think Pop Century is the best deal. It's a little more expensive than the All Stars, not considerably more expensive, but you've got the Skyliner. So 2 out of the 4 parks, you're doing the Skyliner to get to and from Epcot and Hollywood Studios. I know I've used this example before. I swear to God, every time we went when one of the kids was little, I could fold my stroller up in my sleep, but as soon as I was in front of that bus line, that sucker wouldn't fold to save my life. And you just feel 100 sets of eyes behind you in that line staring bullets through you.
Right.
You don't have that problem with Skyliner. You just roll that stroller right onto the Skyliner and your child can continue to sleep if they're sound asleep there. So there's advantages to that. Now, we stayed at Art of Animation in May when we went. It was really, really nice. I loved the theming. It was incredible. But it's priced more like a moderate resort.
Okay.
And for me, it wasn't worth it.
Okay.
I love Caribbean Beach Resort. Again, it's on the Skyliner. From a moderate perspective, it's big, it's spread out, but it's quiet and very relaxing.
Right. Robbie, the wilderness cabins are beautiful and amazing, and they're quite expensive. They're right under the Polynesian bungalows with how expensive they are.
Tina, yes, I've used Uber Steve. He's great, super nice guy. He's on TikTok. He's busy. You got to book out in advance with him, otherwise you're not going to get him. And Tina, I also saw you comment about Tepanito. That is one of our absolute favorite restaurants. Love that place at Epcot. That's kind of one of our must-dos every time we go. Okay, so that was kind of quick on the resorts, but I think we can move on.
Okay.
Dining plans. I got to get my notes back in order here.
Okay.
I hear the garage door opening. Lori's back.
All right. Well, I will just, you get your notes. So if Ryan, if you're still in here, and what's this about? Mike is a travel agent, and we come on once a week, 7:30 on Eastern Standard Time on Thursday evenings, and we talk about whatever's relevant on our Discord, on my Discord, which the link is up here in the bio. You can go and we have a section in there and you can put questions that you want Mike and I to address or talk about topics for that this week. So that's what this is about. That is why we are not in a park today or, at a park right now. We just chit chat about travel and Disney and any questions you might have about Universal or Disney.
Yep, absolutely. And you don't necessarily have to get your question to us in Discord. We typically try to address them.
There's lots of other ways.
Yep.
Email, message, and TikTok, or any other way you can ask a question.
Yes.
But we're here pretty consistently, 7:30s on Thursdays.
That's right.
Okay.
Even though the NFL's starting up and there's Thursday night games, we're going to be here, darling.
Yep.
All right.
You're the one that picked this night?
Did I?
Yeah.
I thought you did.
No. I said Wednesday mornings, which I understand is no longer convenient, but I think we had to pick between Tuesday and Thursday. And for some reason, we had just done Thursday, and we were like, let's just stick with it.
Yeah, and this works well. Jules, when is Journey of Water inspired by Moana going to open at Epcot? Still no. Hey there.
I couldn't see you online, so I didn't know.
Oh, okay, that's right. Still no official open date for the general public. They've been doing cast member walkthroughs, and Janelle just got an email about pass holders getting their preview. From everything I've read and seen, it sounds like it could be closer to November before it's open for the general public. What are you laughing about? By Donald?
Your little friend
Absolutely.
on the stand there.
I was the only one home. I had to have company. So that's what I'm hearing is November. Could it be sooner than that? Possibly. But, I mean, here we are. God, I mean, it sounds crazy, but we're almost the middle of September already. And pass holders are going to start to get their opportunity.
Well, so they have the pass holder dates. And so I think it goes like October 2nd to October, I don't know, whatever it is. So I'm thinking after the last date for the pass holders in DVC, it's going to be sometime, if we're going to go off of those dates, so then maybe we're thinking sometime in October, because our preview dates will be over in October. So.
Robbie, I've thought this frequently, that people are going to be highly disappointed.
Yeah.
A, because of how long it took, and B, because there's no ride. I think those are going to be two key factors. Everybody who was disappointed in Tron will have forgotten about that disappointment once this opens up. Julia, is $8,000 enough for you to travel to Disney World from California for a week? There's a lot of different things I would need to know before I could say yes or no. I mean, are you coming by yourself? Are you a family of 6? You know, that sort of stuff. I don't know.
Okay.
I doubt it.
Kirsten was asking.
I doubt it. Sorry. So much easier when I was by myself. Donald never interrupted.
I will leave. Oh my God.
But Julia, if you want, I don't know where I'm pointing at. In my profile, whatever. Here, I'll do this. In my profile, I have my email address in there. You can email me. I also have a quote.
Your name is at the bottom. Like, I don't know if she clicks your name.
Anyway, if you could get into my TikTok profile, I have an email address in there. You can email me. I also have a quote form. If you want to complete that and send it, you can absolutely do that. That's right, Robbie. They use Chase ATMs. Or if you're there when Robbie is there, Robbie can be your ATM.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Did we hit everything up to this point now?
Yep.
As far as questions go.
Click his box in his picture. Yeah. So if you click his name right here, his little circle will come up. Click that, and then you'll get his profile.
100%.
Robbie.
I figured you'd be interested. Okay. So Disney dining plans. I better take a quick drink before I dive into this.
Okay.
I know we covered this a couple weeks ago, but it was asked again, so I figured I'd touch on it.
And you know what, guys? I know we say this often. Mike and I have talked about it also. If you think we've talked about it, we will talk about it over and over and over, because not everybody is here tonight. And tonight might be different than last week and next week. And we're here to answer the questions over and over.
How cool would it have been if I had worn my fuel rod shirt tonight?
So I almost thought, I was like, what are the chances that Mike would wear his fuel rod shirt?
That would have been, yeah, she is. That would have been awesome.
You may go grab it for you.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I think the green will clash with Donald. Okay, so Disney is reintroducing the dining plans in 2024. If you're a longtime Disney enthusiast, been to the parks, you'll know that prior to COVID, they had dining plans, and they had multiple dining plans to the point where they got really kind of confusing as to which one I could get, which one I couldn't get, or it depended upon which resort you were at, blah, blah, blah. They've simplified it for any stays starting January 9th and beyond in 2024. So if you're there the very first week of January, there's no dining plan. But if you're staying on the 9th or after, Tina, I think it's only Disney World right now. I've not seen anything on Disneyland. Although, I'll be honest with you, Disneyland just opened up 2024 bookings about 2 weeks ago. So they're really far behind. There are two different plans for Disney World for dining starting January 9th of next year. The only caveat is you have to stay on property. You cannot stay at a Good Neighbor resort. You cannot stay at an Airbnb and get the dining plan. You have to stay in one of the Disney resorts. You have two to pick from, and again, it doesn't matter if you're in value, moderate, or deluxe resorts. The quick service plan affords you 2 quick service meals per night stay per person in your room, 1 snack per night per person, and then 1 of the refillable drink mugs per person in your package. So if you're a family of 4 and you're staying for 4 nights, you got 4 nights of 2 quick service meals for each of the 4 people, 4 nights of 1 snack for each of the 4 people, and 4 drink mugs. The price is average, so don't quote me on this, but it's roughly $57 per adult per night, and it's roughly $24, I round it up, $24 per child, and a child is considered ages 3 to 9. So if you have a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, whatever, they're considered an adult when it comes to the dining plan. Now, for comparison, prior to COVID in 2020, the quick service plan cost about $55 per adult. So it's gone up $2, which when you think about inflation over the last 4 years, $2 isn't bad.
No, groceries are way more than that.
Yep. Now, here's the interesting part. It's gone down $2 per child since 2020.
Okay.
So pretty interesting. Okay, that was one of the 2 plans. The other plan they have is what I just call the traditional dining plan.
Okay.
It gives you 1 quick service meal per night per person in your resort room, 1 table service, i.e. reservation dining per night, 1 snack per night, and the drink mug.
Okay.
The price for that on average is about $94.28 for an adult per night, and about $29.70 per child per night.
Right. Okay.
So those are the 2 dining plans for stays on or after January 9th of next year.
Yeah, I know we've talked about it before. I love the dining plan. I love to be everything paid for when we get there, you know? which is why I think I love the idea of a cruise so much because it's all paid for. You know, I know the tips and stuff like that, but everything's paid for. I know I can eat.
You're exactly right. I mean, if you were to book a trip to Disney World for next Thanksgiving, 2024, you've got 13 months until then. You could be making payments weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, whatever you wanted to do between now and then. And you know that I've got it all covered.
Right. Yeah.
Tina,
That's all taken care of.
the other part that's not dining related, but is January 9th related, is for trips starting January 9th and beyond next year, you no longer need park reservations. If you have a date stamped ticket, which is part of your resort package tickets, you no longer have to make reservations to go to Magic Kingdom or Hollywood or any of the 4 parks.
Okay.
As of right now, our good friends like Janelle will still need to make reservations.
I'm going to be honest. The past 2 days I've gone to the park, I have walked up there and not had a reservation. Like, that's how much they need to get rid of this system. Like, it's just not even on my mind anymore, and I don't know why. I mean, it's like, it's so frivolous, and I'm just like, why are we doing this still? Why?
And then the other thing that is status quo is park hopping is still 2 p.m. There's been no mention of them changing that. Even though Disneyland is 11 a.m., Disney World is still 2 p.m.
So, I was talking with Tim about that the other day. Why can we not at least even have 1 a.m. or 1 p.m.? Like, give us that one.
So Jules asked what happens if the park is full. Now, the likelihood of that is kind of reserved for Christmas Day, New Year's Eve.
New Year's Day, yeah.
New Year's Day. That's really about it. I don't even know if any of the other holidays come close.
Nothing. I cannot even remember the last time I saw half of a circle on my reservations to tell me that there were not some parks, that Magic Kingdom wasn't available. It has had to have been at least 6 months or longer. Like I said, maybe Christmas was the last time that I saw on my reservations that I just couldn't get in,
So, to Jules' question though, Disney knows how many people are staying in their resort on any given day. So They already know that, I mean, historically, they know if there's 100,000 people staying in their resorts, they know historically what percentage of that 100,000 goes to each of the 4 parks each day. So they can estimate right then and there. And then, unfortunately for the annual pass holders, that's where they could get shut out if they have to continue to make reservations. But again, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and maybe this year Magic Kingdom on Janelle's birthday might sell out.
Possibly. It is going to be on a Monday. So.
There's rumblings of a new parade on that day only.
Really?
I think there was reference to you being the Grand Marshal to start the parade, and that Mickey and Minnie were going to be walking the route while you were up in the balloon.
You know what? The other day when I was talking to Jessica, our cast member friend Jessica, who drives the omnibus, she picks the Grand Marshal. She accidentally, I think it was an accident. I don't think she should have told me. But I was like, oh my goodness, what if I could convince her to pick me on my birthday? I wouldn't put her in that position, but what if I'm just over there like, I'm over here.
Fortunately, I think because of your relationship with her, you'll probably never get picked.
I know, Brooke. I know. I thought about it, Brooke. But again, that's putting her in a position. I just wouldn't ever want her to feel any kind of way for even asking her. You can message her all you want. But I know. She was like, I've started, doing the Grand Marshal. And I was like, oh my gosh, I know somebody.
It could be that she just does it on random days too, and not every single day she's
Right.
there.
Absolutely.
It could be,
Absolutely.
Brooke, for your trip, it could be that every day you're there in the Magic Kingdom, Jessica's not the one picking that day.
Right. It's 100% true.
It could be that those cast members show up, and just before they walk out to do whatever their chore is, that they get tapped on the shoulder and said, "Hey, you're the one today. Go pick somebody."
Right. Yeah. Well, I figured because she does the omnibus and she goes to like around the castle, or or in the car, like she's really personable in the car, and she'll say like, what are you here for? That's probably what she's doing, and I'm just catching on. But she will say like, where's everybody from? What are you here for? And she's asking all these like pertinent questions on like picking somebody. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
you need to get there early. You have to get there early, Brooke. Yes, for
Absolutely.
sure.
Excellent. Okay. So that was dining and reservations. Let me go back to my list. I'm going to just go in the order of my stuff here so I don't
Okay.
get lost. We did skip the DAS. I'll come back to that.
Okay.
Where's my
We
list?
can go over, Brooke is here. We can go over packing essentials.
Yeah, I'll do that one next.
Okay.
So it was asked if we could go through the list of things that are prohibited or banned at the Disney parks.
Okay.
It's a much longer list than I thought as I looked all this up. And I want to try to be careful as to how I phrase some of these things so that neither one of us get put into TikTok jail.
Okay.
But I think we're all adult enough, smart enough to realize there are certain things that you can't take into a park. Robbie, you mentioned one, something that would.
Well, that was in the category of Unicorns asking what's banned. Did you already just say that?
Well, I'm trying not to say certain words because I don't want us to get in trouble.
Okay.
Say the word.
Okay. So we can't say that word?
I think you can't bring weapons. Any type of weapon. I think that's safe to say that. So, be adults about it. Know that what Robbie mentioned, I would consider that as a form of a weapon. You cannot bring self-defense items like mace and pepper spray. Those are not allowed. Obviously, illegal substances, you cannot bring those into the parks. Any items or toys that would resemble weapons, you cannot bring those into the parks. No fireworks, no fog machines, no alcohol, no glass containers. The only exception to glass containers, if you've got an infant, the little baby jars of food are okay. Robbie, yes, if you have a prescription medication, you can take that into the park with you. I said illegal substances. I'm going to get to that one on the list here in just a second, Don.
Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we're good.
Hear me?
You're going to have to go out and come back in.
Yes.
Okay. Hi, everybody. So I know one of the things we were, okay. Well, he was quick this time. Hey, Tim. Hey, Dawn. Hi, Brooke. Okay.
All right. Sorry.
Stop getting phone calls.
My phone rings like twice a month. I don't know what's going on.
know where you were located. Like if you were here, if you were at the.
Oh, no. Okay. Noisemakers, drones, toys, skateboards, scooters, inline skates. They even have the shoes with the wheels that are in them.
Heelys.
Those are illegal. Now I've seen people with them, but they're technically illegal. Strollers that are larger than 31 inches wide or longer than 52 inches in length are not allowed. Stroller wagons are not allowed. Wagons are not allowed. Suitcases or coolers that are greater than 24 inches long by 15 inches wide by 18 inches high are not allowed. You cannot bring in loose or dry ice. They recommend the reusable ice packs. Folding chairs are not allowed. Selfie sticks, which I think Don was the one who mentioned.
But they do allow you to bring a tripod, because I have brought a tripod too. But so not the selfie sticks that you hold out way far. And I will say that, for instance, one, you're not going to be on Big Thunder whipping your selfie stick out. And it's not necessarily going down Main Street, but they don't want you on the safari, sticking a selfie stick out in a giraffe's face, stuff like that.
So you mentioned tripod, like the gimbals, the little phone stabilizers. Yep. Those are fine. Flags and banners, you cannot bring those in. Tripods over 6 feet in length are banned. So you mentioned tripods are okay. They got to be smaller in nature that you can fold up. At Animal Kingdom, you cannot have balloons, which I never thought about that until I was looking for this. I'm like, yeah, they don't sell balloons there. No plastic straws. Non-Coast Guard approved flotation devices are not allowed. Pool noodles are not allowed at the parks, at the resorts and the water parks. Okay. You are allowed to bring gum into the park with you, but you will not find gum sold at any of the Disney parks, at any of the Disney resorts. I didn't know this until I was researching. Orlando International Airport does not sell gum. You can't get gum at MCO.
I didn't hear what you said.
See you, Don.
That's a good. I'm telling you, when I stuck in gum at Disney, it is the most annoying thing ever.
But can you imagine if you were the poor janitor?
Yeah.
How much gum they'd be scraping off the concrete underneath seats of stuff? It'd be horrible. Tina, technically, is it because no one's way? I think the tripod.
People get in the way with the tripod. Like, I get that.
Yeah, they get in the way with it. They hold it up in the air. You can imagine a tripod that's over 6 feet tall. When it's opened up, it's a pretty good sized wingspan. So you have a tripping hazard of people walking by you.
Yeah, but they are allowed.
Yeah. So that was the list of banned items or prohibited that I had on there.
And I bring in Taco Bell. Yes, Robbie. Yes, you can.
I'm laughing, but that is, and we've talked about this before, ways to help save on the cost of your trip. You can absolutely bring food and snacks and drinks into the park. No glass bottles. As I said, you can bring in coolers. They just have to be smaller in nature. No loose ice, no dry ice. So if you're on a budget, you can absolutely bring in Taco Bell, Robbie, or you can bring in Pop-Tarts or whatever, Uncrustables, you name it. There's options there. So you can do that and cut down on your costs. Okay, so that was the banned items. I think I have 3 things left on my list.
Okay.
Brooke, are you still here?
Soda cans, yes, Robbie, you can. Because that was one of the items. Was that on Lala, the no Dr. Pepper?
Yes. They do not have Dr. Pepper at the Disney resorts or parks. So if you're a Dr. Pepper fan or a Diet Dr. Pepper fan, you want to bring it with you.
Yep.
And bring it with you could be stopping at a grocery store on your way in. It could be, and Tina mentioned DoorDash. It could be doing DoorDash or Instacart or Amazon or whatever. And that was one of the things one of
Yep.
the things on the list here was mobile ordering
To
kits.
talk about them. Yeah.
So I don't know if Brooke is still on or not. She would asked about packing must-haves.
It's Coke only. It's Coke only, Randy.
Yep. Yes, it's Coke. All right. So I have a list of packing must-haves. I can. Oh, good, Brooke, you are here. I can promise you that I'll read it off, and somebody's gonna say, "What about this? What about that?" It's not an all-inclusive list, but a comfortable park bag, whether it's a Loungefly like Janelle's got behind her, or a cinch bag, or whatever it may be, a comfortable park bag for you to tote your stuff around. And I would even potentially recommend, especially if you have children with a stroller, at least 2 bags. Have all of your valuables in one that you're going to take on each ride with you, and the other one, if it's got a thing of travel Kleenex in it, for instance, and somebody walks away with it, so be it. But you're not having to haul as much stuff on each ride, so I would recommend that. Water bottles are a good idea to have. You can get free ice water at each of the stands. If Road Trip, hold that question. But you can bring your own water bottles if you want. You can dump the ice water into those and keep it colder. Absolutely do that. One of the things that I like about the bringing your own water bottle for me personally, and I think Janelle knows this, I'm not a big ice water fan. It's just bland. And I'm not talking about Florida water here. It's the same in any of the states. I got to have flavoring. So the little flavor packets, whether it's liquid IV or whatever, if you're like me, you can go to the grocery store. Skittles comes out with their own flavor packets. Love it. Nerds has their own. It's great. If you're a fan of Crush, like the grape soda Crush, they have their own version of it. So yeah, that's where having your own water bottle, put that ice water in there, pour the packet in, shake it up. You got flavored water. Obviously, make sure you bring your phone. If you're a camera person, bring your camera. Make sure you bring all of the charging cords that you need. If it's a camera that uses batteries, bring spare batteries. If it has a memory card, bring a spare memory card. All of those sorts of things. I actually wrote fuel rod on my list, not because I knew Janelle was going to wear that shirt, but fuel rod / battery pack. Whatever you have to charge up your phones. There's a fuel rod. Here's a fuel rod. I love these because seriously, this is, there's my index finger. It's a little bit longer than my index finger, and it's about as wide as my index finger. It's nice and small and compact. It doesn't weigh a lot. We've got 2 or 3 of these. Lori's got the bigger brick charging battery packs that I use, but we just last night went out to see Briggs and my phone was dying. She had her battery pack with her, and I used that. I had that and my phone in my pocket, and I thought my shorts were going to fall off because those bricks are so heavy. And you're going to walk around the park all day long. These things are so light. And as Janelle knows, when this one dies and you're inside the park, there are kiosks where you can just insert this and out spits a fully charged fuel rod. There's no charge to swap out a fuel rod for another one.
Right.
It's a very handy way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right there, Robbie. Okay, let me keep going on my list. Fuel rods, ponchos. It rains in Florida. You can spend the $12-15 for the Disney poncho, or you can get half a dozen for about $6 or $7 at your Dollar Tree store or whatever. I'm a huge proponent of the rain ponchos. People ask me about umbrellas. Yes, they have little compact umbrellas that you can bring in. To me, it's just kind of a hassle, especially if it's windy at all when it's raining. Umbrellas can be a mess. I think the poncho is good enough. When the rain stops, you can roll that poncho up, stuff it into a Ziploc bag, and keep it away from the rest of your belongings that you want to keep dry. I'm not saying don't bring an umbrella. I'm just not an umbrella fan.
So I was just going to say, some people don't have the umbrella for rain. They have it for shade, and they have the solar, reflecting ones now that, really do reduce your heat and, UV rays and all of that. And if you need that, then yes, I highly recommend, you having that for yourself, especially to protect yourself and everything. But ponchos are easier to store and not carry around and so forth.
Yeah. So, Brooke, I saw your comment about the poncho sticking to you in the humidity. And Brooke, I'm not making this comment to you and your family, even though it may seem like it. I know when my kids were little, they wanted their own umbrella. If we had an umbrella, they wanted their own umbrella. And with the crowds, guarantee you, my kid was going to poke somebody's eye out with the umbrella as they were twirling around, goofing around, whatever. So it was just easier to say, we have ponchos. That's it. No umbrellas, we have ponchos. Anyway.
Brooke, I get it. And I also say with the ponchos, if you're buying them somewhere, whether it be Target or the Dollar Tree, I would test one out before you get here too and make sure, it might go to your knees at least, because you don't want to get there and say like, oh my gosh, I'm soaking wet from the waist down because your poncho was, a toddler size.
So,
hey, Leanne.
All I could envision was,
thank you.
You get a poncho, bring it home, put it on, and jump in your shower. Well, there's no rain in the forecast for the next week. I got to test it somehow.
No.
All right. Let me keep going with my list. So I mentioned Ziploc bags. Bring Ziploc bags, the gallon size, whether it's for wet ponchos. You're going to need them for something or other. So have at least a few with you.
Even like little ones too. I would say little ones too for extra food, especially with littles. If you have extra chicken nuggets.
Brooke, you might need to get the child size poncho. Sunscreen. Make sure you bring sunscreen. Big one, little ones. Make sure you have enough to get you through. You're going to need it every day you're there. And if it washes off after it rains, you're going to need to reapply it. And just save yourself the money, get it at home, and bring it with you. And likewise, bring aloe vera or some sort of sunburn cream to put on when you get back from the park, because inevitably, even if you put sunscreen on, you missed a spot on your arm, on your leg, whatever, back of your neck, whatever it is. My poor oldest son, this past weekend, we went golfing, and we all had golf hats on, right? Protect your head. Kramer's got his head shaved. You get a picture of the back of a hat that has like little opening. There's like the Velcro strap or whatever. That little half moon shape of Kramer's head is fried. Oh. He didn't think to put suntan lotion on. But having aloe vera or some sort of post-burn cream is a handy thing to have. A first aid kit, Band-Aids, moleskin, first aid ointment, that sort of thing. Bring a little first aid kit with you. You're going to get blisters.
Yeah.
Period. It doesn't matter. You're going to get blisters. No matter how hard you try, you're going to get them. Hand sanitizer. Now, Disney does have hand sanitizer scattered around the parks. Not nearly as much as they did post-COVID. You got to search high and low. But if you're a person who wants to stay clean, whatever, bring hand sanitizers, bring wet wipes.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the wipes because then you can wipe a table down if you need to at Casey's Corner or, whatever it is. The wipes, go a long ways as well.
Bring some form of Gold Bond powder or baby powder, especially when it's hot down there. When it rains, your skin gets wet, you're going to have chafing. You'll thank yourself if you have some type of powder. I mentioned wet wipes, Kleenex. It's going to have chapstick. Make sure it's got some sunscreen built into it as well. Pain reliever. Man, I can't tell you how much you're going to need pain reliever. Your feet are going to hurt. Your legs are going to hurt. Your back is going to hurt. You're going to wake up with a headache, whatever it is. Make sure you've got pain reliever on you at all times because you're going to need it. And I would tell you, don't wait for your legs to hurt to take it. Preventative measures are great as well.
Right.
Likewise, bring some type of stomach medicine, whether it's Tums or Rolaids or Pepto. Inevitably, especially if you got little, somebody's going to have an upset tummy at some point. They had too many bites of that treat, and they shouldn't have.
They've had too many pickles. Leanne, I'm sure that's on his list. That's a very good recommendation, though. I like the handheld battery fan.
I've lost all semblance of my list because I'm throwing up a little on the inside right now.
Oh, stop it.
If you are going to go see characters, whether it's standing in line, if you're going to go to dining with characters, bring an autograph book with you from home. If you're a scrapbooker or have a scrapbook friend or family member, have them put one together for you. Make sure you also bring Sharpies with you for the autograph books. I'm going to pretend I didn't see that. I can't. Look away, look away. It's like a train wreck. Obviously, if you have littles, bring a stroller. You can rent them at Disney, but again, if you're wanting to save some money, there's no reason to not bring one with you. And if your child needs a stroller in the parks, your child's going to need a stroller walking through the airports. So you might as well have it with you.
The retractable Sharpie is good too. I mean, the majority of the time, cast members, character attendants have the Sharpies, but I would at least have at least one black one with you, because you never know if someone's going to go by you and Peter Pan will take the Sharpie out of your hand. And I watched it the other day. He signed an autograph book on the way, to wherever he was going. So you just don't know. You want to have that. Hey, Steven.
Are you saying Peter Pan stole a Sharpie?
No, he didn't steal it, but like the little kid had the book out and he went and grabbed the book because he signed it. He saw it. Oh. So my point being is he's out there roaming around. So is the cast member, the character attendant didn't have Sharpies on them because again, he's just out there roaming around, it's good to have just a spare one with you.
Okay. I'm almost done with my list. And again, I know I've forgotten stuff and we'll cover those here, but kid necessities. If you're flying or you're taking a car trip, have stuff that'll entertain your child or children on the plane or on the car ride, so that they're not asking you 17,000 times, are we there yet? Make sure you pack extra room in your suitcase. No matter how hard you try, you're going to bring home souvenirs. And your souvenirs could be, I wish I had one with me, your refillable drink mugs. If you're a family of 4, those mugs are about the size of this thing. Janelle's probably got one handy there.
No, I don't. I was like, or it could be this.
Or yes, your popcorn buckets, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You're going to need room.
Yeah, you will bring home Disney magic for sure.
And some of the room in your suitcase could be if you pack snacks, for instance, in your carry-on. Well, hopefully you've eaten them all by the time your trip ends and you'll have that room. Throw an extra duffel bag in your suitcase, whatever it may be. Always save room for the purchases. Comfortable shoes. We've talked about this before. My recommendation is to bring at least 2 pair and have them be 2 different type, whether that's tennis shoe and Crocs or tennis shoes and flip-flops, or 2 different brands of tennis shoes or 2 different brands of sandals, whatever it may be. Make sure you bring 2 different types because they'll rub on your feet differently. Make sure, and Janelle, you broke this rule. Make sure you don't bring brand new shoes to the park to break in. Now, Janelle did that, but she was in the park for 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah,
not
totally different.
Not for 12 hours for 6 days straight.
Yeah.
So, pack multiple types of shoes. Make sure they're broken in before you get there. I tell you, in May, one of the pair of tennis shoes I brought, I've had for 5 years. I got blisters from those shoes. It's going to happen. That's why you need to have moleskin and Band-Aids and that sort of stuff.
I agree. And again, I wore the new shoes the one day and then the next day I put, did a different pair of shoes and so it just made my feet, it's so different being your feet appreciate it for sure. Being able to switch it up. And again, I say it too, the tennis shoes that you wear, you don't know if they're going to get wet going on, Pirates of the Caribbean or the Camel walking through Adventureland. Like, You just don't know. A little kid could spill a cup of water all over your shoes, or it's just hot, humid, and your feet are sweaty and gross. Like, all of those reasons are a reason to have a spare pair of shoes. Thank you, Leanne. Thank you. That means a lot.
And you're right. I mean, again, I'm a tennis shoe guy, but I brought 2 pairs of tennis shoes.
Mhm.
And because of the fact that my shoes could get wet, that's, Janelle had mentioned the smaller size Ziploc bags. Throw an extra pair of socks in a small Ziploc bag. If you need to swap out, put the wet socks in the small Ziploc bag, and you're good to go for the afternoon or evening.
Yeah.
Good night, Robbie.
It is going to, even if a little shower passes by, you know what I mean? You just don't want it to like dampen your day. More often than none, do I see somebody over sitting on a bench with their shoes off, drying everything out, just trying to get it so that they can put their shoes back on.
Yeah, absolutely. Now that we're getting into fall.
Oh no, Leanne.
Yeah.
Someone dropped a bowl of soup on her shoes. Yeah, see?
Oh,
That could happen.
yikes. Wow.
Yeah.
You'll need to start, if you're going later this fall, over the winter into early spring, pack layers of clothing. It'll be 80, 85 in the afternoon, but it could be in the 50s in the morning. And at night when the sun goes down, that temperature drops quickly. And you want to plan for it. Hats. I say this, although I never wear a hat when I'm down there, especially in the summer. That sun can hurt. So bring a hat, bring your sunglasses, eye protection, whatever it may be. Make sure you bring swimwear. Even if you don't intend on swimming, especially this time of year, you're down there, you may want to just spend some time at the pool.
Right.
And do that. The handheld fans was mentioned earlier, whether it's the neck fan or the small pocket fans, the cooling towels, things like that. Those are all pretty good necessities this time of year. All right, Janelle, what did I forget?
So I'm going to say, and I don't know if Brooke is still here, Megan kind of covered this topic yesterday. And one of the things that she had mentioned was like, in the hotels, yes, Disney does give you shampoo and soap. But depending on how, that might not be your thing. But, just your facial cleanser, stuff like that, not to depend on Disney. Like, it just might not be your thing that you want to use what they provide. So make sure you have like all your toiletries and stuff like that. And I would assume, yes, if you forget a toothbrush, maybe you can go down to the, the lobby. I know that do they give them to you? I know that you can go to a market and buy them.
I'm laughing because I know a lot of hotels, if you forget your toothbrush, you can go down and ask for one and they'll give you one. I've had that happen once in my life on a business trip.
Okay.
I swear to God, when I took it upstairs and started brushing, as I was brushing, the bristles were falling off into my mouth. It was the worst thing ever. It was like I'd be better off not brushing my teeth than having those bristles all over. So, I'm pretty particular about toothbrush.
So Leanne says she believes most. Yeah, but do they give them to you, Leanne? Or like I know they have them in the market, where you can buy the Pepto and the toothbrushes and toothpaste and stuff like that. But, emergency toothbrush.
I think the biggest part of all of this is, especially if you've never been to Disney, don't wait until the last minute to pack or to plan to pack. I mean, you don't have to pack weeks in advance, but plan weeks in advance. Start thinking about the things that you need. Go out and look at YouTube videos. Watch stuff like this, and there'll be things that you don't think about. I mean, Janelle talked about hair care products and things like that. Obviously, with hair like mine, that's not very high on my list of things to think about. But yeah, invest a little time so that you don't miss out on stuff. And I'm a true believer of this. If you forget to pack it, one of two things will happen. Either you truly didn't need it, or they have it and you can buy it.
Right. Well, and I'm also going to say, I'm sure all you have to do is Google it And maybe it's something I should come up with and we can just refer to this little form, but a Disney packing, form. Hey, Katie, a Disney packing list.
Okay. There are two things left on my list.
Okay.
One, again, I don't know if Unicourse is on still. I think her daughter should be.
Tina is the one that asked about the Universal to Disney World.
For DAS. So we can include that in this. So Unicourse had asked about DAS stuff. And then grocery delivery was the other thing that was on the list. Oh, and then, again, somebody asked about D23.
Okay.
So those were the three last things.
Leanne, have so much fun. You're going to have so much fun.
Absolutely. Have a great time.
That's a good, and the majority of the resorts have a washout station for your cups. So.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so now that we know Unicourse is here, we can talk about DAS.
Okay.
And I know we covered DAS a few weeks ago, or it feels like we did. So I'm not going to necessarily go into all of the nuts and bolts. I got to get Donald repositioned here. All right. Maybe he should be like that. Is that better?
Whisker Gaming, give us a moment. We're going to cover DAS and then we can go back to tips on our normal tips we give out.
Absolutely. Yes. Okay. So DAS is the Disability Accessibility Service. It is a offering that Disney provides to guests that have issues with standing in the lines for a length of period. And when I say issues, I don't mean that you're in a wheelchair or you're on a scooter. It's typically not physical impediments. It's anxiety type things. I'm trying to be sensitive here, other ailments, things that you may unfortunately be inflicted with that makes it virtually impossible for you to be able to stand in the lines waiting for the ride. And look, none of us like to stand in the lines, period. But for those that truly, physically, mentally are not able to do so, Disney came out with the DAS Pass option to allow those guests to be able to enjoy the parks like everybody else can. I know I said this before, and in my mind, in my simple brain, the DAS Pass works similarly to getting a Lightning Lane through Genie Plus. You are given a time window to come back to expedite the wait time to get on the ride. And I'll say it this way, Janelle, and you can correct me, if today's Thursday, if it's the middle of the afternoon, we're at Magic Kingdom, and we wanted to go ride Pirates of the Caribbean, and the current standby line is 45 minutes. As a DAS Pass member, if you go into the app to select that ride, or if you go to one of the guest service stands for that ride, they would give you a return time that is about 45 minutes from now.
Correct.
So you're, in essence, waiting the same amount of time, but you're not waiting in the line.
Correct.
That gives you the opportunity to go walk in a shop if you want to, or if Small World has no wait, you can go ride that and kill some of that 45 minutes and go back into Pirates of the Caribbean to ride the ride. So that's the general concept of the DAS Pass. I'm sure there's details that we could totally dive into, but we're an hour and 45 minutes in. And if Janelle shows me that pickle thing again, I might lose it. So that's the general concept.
We're okay. I mean, Leanne's making some good points too, because she is a cast member at guest services. But yeah, it could possibly be longer than the 45 minutes because you can only do up to 6 people. So.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you, Leanne. Appreciate it. So there are primarily two options as to how you can register for the DAS. You can do it online ahead of your trip, anywhere from 2 days prior to arrival up to 30 days prior. Most of it is online, and then there is a short video conference that you will do with a Disney cast member as they are essentially pre-qualifying you for the DAS pass. Now, when I say pre-qualified, they're not asking you to show them a doctor's note. They're not asking what your ailments are, what have you. They're sensitive about the situation. They want to help you. But again, let's all be adults. And sadly, in this world, we know that there are people that are trying to take advantage of this and take a service that is truly not meant for them. So that's the intent behind the interview, is to make sure that the people who truly need the service are the ones getting the benefit of the service. So that's one option. You can do that. It's pretty quick and painless and easy. And as a part of that, they will book 2 DAS Pass attractions for you for each of the days of your stay, as long as that stays within the 2 and 30 days time. Yep, unfortunately, you're right, Leanne. So that's one option. If that's not something you want to do and you want to wait, when you get to the park and walk inside any of the 4 parks, you can go up to guest services, and they will take care of it for you right then and there. From there, you can then ask for a DAS pass for a ride, kind of like a lightning lane, and you'll get that. So we'll use my example. 45 minutes from now, we're going to go back to Pirates of the Caribbean. The person who has the DAS, so let's pretend it's me and my sister Janelle and my sister Brooke and my brother Chris and my brother Robbie. If I'm the person who's needing it, they're on my Disney Experience app as part of my DAS group. I have to be the one who badges in, though. They can't just go ride it and take advantage of it while I sit in the air conditioning because I'm overwhelmed. I've got to be on the ride with them.
Right.
Once we badge in, I can go into the app and make my next DAS Pass selection, similar to how Lightning Lanes work with Genie Plus. Now, a couple of things that are somewhat DAS related, somewhat un-DAS related, that people may not be aware of. You can qualify for DAS because of certain circumstances that you have that still prevents you from being able to stand in a line for a length of time. They do have wheelchairs available, potentially. They don't always have them, but even if you have to wait in that line for, say, 15 minutes as opposed to an hour, that might be hard for you to do. You can ask a cast member, and if a wheelchair is available, they will absolutely accommodate and let you borrow that wheelchair for that 15 minutes that you're waiting in line. Nobody wants you to have an experience where you pass out or get, lightheaded or whatever and go down. Nobody. Guests, cast members, Disney, nobody. So they will always try to try to help. I know, Leanne, you said they always have wheelchairs. I want to say always, but it's like never say never, right? Never say always, because inevitably somebody's going to run into a situation where they just didn't have a wheelchair and they're going to come back after us. So they do their absolute level best.
Right.
Now, that same person who can't stand in line for 10, 15 minutes and needs the assistance of that wheelchair may also be the same kind of person who can't stand in their shower in their resort room for 10 or 15 minutes while they shower. Disney does make available, and again, it's limited, but if you are smart about it and ask up front when you first book your trip, they can reserve shower benches, portable shower benches that can come in. They'll bring them in and leave them in your room when you check in so that you can sit down while you're showering.
Okay.
Yep.
I wonder, do all the showers have handrails? I bet they do. I'm sure that's code.
I would bet not. I would think probably code only requires the handicap accessible rooms have bars.
Okay. All right.
Now, another thing to know, and I always use the Haunted Mansion example. Part of your anxieties might be in a group in a small room, that stretching room. If that's something that you struggle with, you can ask a cast member as you badge into the ride, and you can skip that stretching room area. You're not bypassing the entire line. You're not going straight up to the front of the ride and hopping on. You are bypassing the group that's in that stretching room at that moment. But you can bypass that.
Okay.
Not all of the rides have that, though. For instance, unless it's changed and you know differently, Janelle, you cannot skip the pre-show at Guardians of the Galaxy.
I'm not aware of that, but what I can tell you, Rise of the Resistance, you can't, like even the very first room that you go into, you can ask not to go into that room. I have not ever asked about the Guardians of the Galaxy one, and I don't know if Leanne knows anything that she could help us out with. But, you know, Mike, this is my whole thing about the third room that you go into. All those lights and flashing, like there's somebody that possibly could not be able to go into that room. There has to be a way to bypass it. I cannot imagine that Disney is making somebody who is prone to seizures go into that room. And so I just have to believe you can bypass it.
So one comment I saw Leanne make, my God, I can't talk. We always have a way to make our guests comfortable. And I think that's the point of this. If there's an anxiety situation that you experience from maybe you've researched the rides, you've looked at YouTube videos, whatever, ask a cast member. They will go out of their way to ensure that you can enjoy an experience to the best of their ability. Be reasonable, right? I mean,
right.
You can't ask them for things that you just know can't be done, but they will do their level best.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, I think that, let's see, for example, you make magic at Space Mountain. We have wheelchair accessible gate with space. Yes. Like I think that there's some way, if there's a will, there's a way. They're gonna do the best that they can.
So totally off topic.
Okay.
There are two things that I wish at Rise that they would do and at Guardians that they would do that I think would further enhance the experience. Okay. At Rise, when you walk into that room and there's all those stormtroopers standing there, and I know this would freak some people out, it would be cool if one of those was an actual dude.
I agree.
And all of a sudden he started moving. That would be cool. That at Guardians, this is certainly not as traumatizing. I think it's time that they start cycling in some new songs.
Okay.
We've had the 6 now for a year. I think it's time to cycle in some new tunes.
That sounds a little controversial.
Well, I'm not saying all 6 of them have to go, but
so I'm going to go back to Jerry and say, Jerry, like if you want to ride the ride, I highly recommend that you just ask a cast member to bypass those rooms because you can. And, I wouldn't want somebody not to be able to ride those rides just because, again, they can't be in those rooms. Going with the stretching room, 2 weeks ago, even last week, I know I show on my lives, frequently, or like to show it a little bit more. Hey, you can bypass this. And now I think I should go to Guardians and show you guys how to bypass Guardians or Rise of the Resistance.
Yeah. So two thoughts that crossed my mind. One, and Jerry, you said that there's no way you could ride those because of your anxiety. Obviously, you can watch YouTube videos. It's one thing to be worried about the pre-show stuff, but you may also need to see the ride itself too, to know whether there's things. I mean, if that drop on Rise is something that you can't handle, the cast members can't make that go away, right? But if you know that's
talking specifically about the rooms,
sure. Yeah. And then the other thought I had, good gravy. I got to go back because somebody said something that made me think of this.
Well, and Jerry, like when you come in November, I'd be more than happy to go with you. And even like in Guardians, I know exactly where to stand. To be away from people and all of that. Like there is a way. And like I said, Haunted, we know that there's a way around it. And Our past member friend Leslie in here said there's hallways in the back to get you through. So
The other thing is each of the 4 parks has a first aid station. So if you are overcome by anxiety, if you know whether it's a DAS pass issue or it's heat related or motion sickness, whatever it is, each of the parks has a first aid station. They have private rooms. They're well air conditioned. They will absolutely take care of you if you need to get off your feet for 10 minutes or for an hour. So, by all means, take advantage of those if you need them.
So
There's a mosquito in this house, driving me crazy.
I didn't even see unicorns mentioned about laying down in the first aid. Yes. Yeah, don't lay down on the benches because the birds will land on you or poop on you or whatever. It's horrible.
the medics in Disney World are amazing. Amazing. It doesn't matter if you've fallen on the train tracks and twisted your ankle or if, it's something more serious. Like they are absolutely amazing. And yes, Leanne, my biggest problem with Tron is walking right when you get into the building. It is a very narrow hallway that I think sometimes can get very warm. And if you don't even know, I know now, so I know how to get myself through being in that little area with all the people behind me and in front of me. But if somebody doesn't know that hallway and getting into the next room, and then that other next room is a little small as well, and not knowing that you're going to go out into a bigger area, it's very difficult, those Tron rooms as well. And we didn't even talk about Tron because I forgot about it, but Tron as well. At least with Guardians, the rooms are bigger, and I like that about it with Guardians. But Rise of Resistance, those areas can feel very small, and so can the Tron room.
There's something else across. Back to the pre-registering. I know I mentioned that it's between 2 and 30 days prior to your arrival that you can register online and through the video. Once you do register and you qualify, that qualifies you for 60 days. So if you're going later this month or next month, you could register for DAS Pass and it would be good for 60 days. If you're going back in January, say, you'll have to register again. So it's only good for 60 days. And then the other thing, if you do the pre-register online and talk to a cast member for the video, it is English only. So if you need Spanish, you need some other language, they do not support that today through the pre-registration process.
And we've talked about the pre-registration before, and I know you kind of touched on it, but it can be a very long wait on the phone.
Yeah.
And so, depending on what kind of time you have, that is quite the compliment, Leanne. Depending on, the time that you have, it might be more beneficial for you to just go find a blue umbrella that says guest services and go talk to a cast member first thing in the morning and take care of it before you even start your activities for the day. Just again, if your time is valuable, you might not even have a job or the opportunity to come and just sit on the phone for 2 or 3 hours. Sometimes that's what I've heard it could be.
If you do attempt to do the pre-qualify, the windows are 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern. So keep that in mind. And you could probably imagine there are blocks of time in there that are going to be naturally busier, right? I would assume probably from about 5 p.m., 6 p.m. Eastern to about 8 or 9 p.m. Eastern is probably really busy. A lot of people are off of work and they have time to do that. If you can call right at 7 a.m., the way I look at it is if you have the ability to call at 7 a.m. Eastern, well, it's 7 a.m. Eastern. That's 6 o'clock where I'm at. it's 4 in the morning if you're on the West Coast. There are probably not very many people calling at 4 a.m. California time or 6 a.m. Omaha time to qualify for DAS. So if you have that availability at 7 a.m. Eastern, you could call and it'd be pretty quick. All right. I think that was everything I had scribbled down for DAS. I think we had a really good conversation and a lot of information with everybody on the line.
Yeah. Well, so one of the things I know Tina had asked was evidently Universal has a system that's different from Disney. And she's saying, is there talk about making the Disney system like Universal? And I don't even know what the Universal system is.
I have no idea what it is either, but
Okay.
I mean, let's be honest. Disney will never do something that's like Universal.
Right.
Right. That I've not heard any talk, and if Leanne's still on, she might know better, but I've not heard any talk at all about Disney changing, modifying.
So she says that Universal, you have to provide medical documentation. I can never see Disney doing that, but yeah.
Nope.
Okay. Yeah.
Tina, I don't ever see Disney going that direction.
Right.
Can I say that Universal will go the Disney direction? I don't know that I can say that either.
Right. Leanne, you know what we're fans of here, Leanne. So I think you've gotten that from us. But yes, I mean, Mike does book for both Disney and Universal. So we do cover Universal topics sometimes.
Have we yet?
I just said sometime. We just did. We did just talk about Universal.
Yeah, we have the same call for Universal, but it's at 4 in the morning when nobody's on.
So, yeah. So, I mean, this could go on to, and you said it earlier with the strollers, the parking lots, the walking. It goes, to your medical needs. If scooter rentals, stroller rentals, all that, you can have that all at your resort and stuff like that. And be mindful of where you can actually walk to and all of that. And you will be accommodated.
I feel like probably 45 minutes ago, somebody asked a question. You said, hold on to that until we're done with the day. What was it?
Hold on. It was road trip. I think it was road trip. Hold on. I'll see it. Christy, and I have not seen any Thumper merch. But that wasn't it.
Tina wants to know if they have special passes for children who use their strollers as wheelchairs. I'm not aware of any special passes in relation to kind of like the DAS pass where you don't have to wait in line. If it's just a case, like I said, DAS pass is not for somebody who needs a wheelchair or a scooter. My assumption would be if your child just needs a stroller as their wheelchair, I don't think you qualify for DAS in that vein. If it's the DAS related symptoms, anxieties, that sort of thing, and they're in a stroller like a wheelchair, that would be different.
Right, let's see.
Oh, you're still looking? Okay.
I am. I feel like I'm going to get to it. Let's see.
Yeah.
Any tips for October, going the first week of October?
Yes, that's right. So gut reaction. One of these days.
October is even the first week of October is amazing. That's the best week to go.
It's highly recommended that you go to the Magic Kingdom on the 2nd of October.
On October 2nd. Okay. And you should just watch Neil over and over and over again.
I'm telling you, we need to start a petition that they put a piano on a float and Neil is in the parade.
That would be it. I'm all for it.
That'd be amazing.
Have you ever been to Disney Springs and seen it's like a remote control piano and the piano floats around and the pianist just plays.
Okay, so here we go. Let's finish the October because now
Okay.
see the last
All
one.
right. Any tips?
So outside of Janelle's birthday, October, yes, is a great time to go.
Yep.
Especially early October. You get to the last week of October, it's Halloween. It can be busier, right? A lot of people think it'd be cool to be there on Halloween. You have to keep in mind, October is kind of in the middle of hurricane season. We talked about hurricanes last week. I'm not mentioning this to scare you by any stretch of the imagination, but just know that that's an added thing that you have to keep in the back of your mind that you don't have to worry about December through May. Okay? There is a big bad hurricane in the Atlantic Ocean right now that is turning westward that by all indications will turn north towards Bermuda before it ever gets close to the Florida coastline. But again, it's something to keep in mind. The weather in October is great. It's hurricane season, so it's going to rain, right? It rains in Florida most of the year. So plan for that. It can still be hot during the day, but the mornings and the evenings, hey, Lexi Lou, the mornings and the evenings are very pleasant usually. Very pleasant. And sometimes, that's what we talked about earlier in packing, you might need an extra layer. It might cool off in the evenings. It might be chilly in the morning, whatever the case may be. Yes, the best days to go are before and after hurricane. Absolutely. And we can kind of joke about that. And I know last week you had the hurricane that went north and northwest of Orlando. And Janelle was in one of the parks, and it was, didn't you say you were like the only person on the ferry boat over?
Oh, I was. Yeah.
And
Well, I want to say that was the day before. That was the Tuesday before. I was the only person on the ferry boat like the day before.
And part of that is a symptom of the fact that people changed their flights and flew home early to make sure that they got out. Right? I mean, look, I live as far away from any kind of hurricane that you could in the United States here in Nebraska, right? Where I'm as far away from any ocean as you could be. If you've never experienced that type of weather and you're down there and you hear the word a hurricane is coming, a lot of people changed their flights and left early to make sure they could get out of town. So you get that advantage of lighter crowds.
Right.
You have, I'm going to air quote this, you have locals that go to the parks down there that could be an hour to 2 hour drive away that they come in for the afternoon. Well, if they were an hour or 2 hours away north of Orlando, they weren't driving in for the day to go to the park, right? Or if they were west along near Tampa, they weren't driving over to go to the park. So you have the advantage of living right there locally and gaining the advantage of fewer people in the parks.
Yeah, I'm sure people changed their plans and probably regretted it after they saw what happened. But again, you have to make that. Mike and I say it all of the time. You have to make the decision that is best for you and your family at that time. And that's who you're concerned about.
And so, Leanne, I see your comment about Disney. I have a little gnat or something playing around me. Well, they'll just land on me and bite me then. That Disney's a safe space resort-wise for hurricanes. 1,000,000% agree with you. Here's the problem. My family, we take a week-long trip to Disney in early October, and a hurricane is projected to come in day 6 or day 7 of my week's trip. If we don't fly out on day 5 and the hurricane rolls in and Orlando International Airport is shut down for 2 days and my family has to stay for 2 additional days, Disney will accommodate me, not for free. I may not be able to financially survive 2 more days staying there. And so it isn't the safety part of it. It's also a financial aspect too. And I have, vivid flashbacks to 9/11. I was in California on a business trip. We were supposed to come home on the 11th. We didn't come home until the 14th. I knew people who were on vacations and didn't come home for a week after.
Yeah.
Some of those people had to take out loans and extra credit cards and what have you. And so that's part of the thing with the hurricane. It isn't so much my safety. It's, can I afford to be here 2 or 3 more days if they shut down?
Right. Well, I know somebody just said, and they are evacuation spots, and I think they understand everybody's situation. And again, we've talked about it several times, the accommodating, Disney accommodating. And again, if you're not used to staying and have never been through a hurricane, I do think people get scared, scared of the unknown and how they will be, how safe they will be, but then also scared, how long will it take me to get back home? Or, all the unknowns that they just don't know about.
And so I wasn't going to go here, but I'm going to go here. That's why using somebody who's a travel advisor is valuable, because we've gone through these things with other guests. I mean, personally, my wife and I went on our honeymoon to Hawaii when I knew a hurricane was coming. I didn't tell her because I don't know if she'd have gotten on the plane to go. She said nope in the background. But I've experienced Disney's call center is bombarded with people when a hurricane is coming.
Right.
You could be on hold for 4 hours, or your travel advisor could be on hold for 4 hours.
Right.
So that's where I would tout that. But again, and I know somebody said this, just be weather aware. They have a pretty good idea a week to 10 days out what tropical systems are going to form. And they have a pretty good idea where they're going to go. Now, does that mean if they said it was going to hit Tampa and it hit 50 miles south that they blew it? No. I mean, 50 miles is nothing in the grand scheme of the globe.
Right.
Like this one, it's out in the Atlantic. They have a pretty doggone good idea that it's going to miss Florida by hundreds and hundreds of miles.
Right.
Could it be only 200 miles and not 400? Sure. Is it possible it can take a hard left? Absolutely, it's possible, but be weather aware. Okay. Somebody asked about early March.
Okay.
My 2 cents worth, I think early March is great. Again, the weather is wonderful. It's, again, it always rains in Florida, but it's not yet the rainy season in early March. The temperatures are great. And when you say early March, I'm thinking like the very first week of March.
The very first week of March. Yep.
You hit the second week of March, and from then until almost the end of April, it's spring break.
Yeah.
So if you're talking first week of March, you're good to go. I remember from this past spring, Janelle's Lives, man, the parks were nutty busy.
Yeah.
Middle of March through the end of April.
Yeah.
So yeah. I love early March, that first week, but after that, it's way too busy.
And we always talk about January, February. I don't know if March plays into any race weekends, but okay, so there, Lala is the cheer week. Again, when you get into the first part of the year, those sports and all of that, they ramp up in Disney, whether it's a race weekend or cheer week or any of that. You would need to be mindful of that. And Mike, how do you find that information?
Well, if I knew what I did with my paper from about 3 weeks ago when we talked about this, I had it all written down. There was, in January and February, in those 2 months in particular, there may have been only 2 weekends in total that didn't have either a cheer weekend or a Run Disney weekend. And I want to say February, it was like 3 out of 4 had something going on.
Cheer week, yeah, Jersey week. Jersey week is
November.
November. That's what I thought.
Like the second.
Thank you, Jessica. I had never heard of Jersey week, and I was like, "What the heck is this?"
The state of New Jersey closes, and they all come to Disney.
Yeah. Oh, I figured it out quickly. So, thank you, Jessica.
I had it written down, but we had family over last week, so Lori made me clean all my stuff up.
It's fine. It's fine.
It was more fun to blame her when she wasn't here to hear me blaming her.
Lori, I'm gonna tell her we're going on a cruise, Lori.
Yeah, we're all going on a cruise in 2025. Oh boy, here she
Girls
comes.
only?
Um, just
We need a girls only cruise.
don't
Okay.
have
Okay.
don't have her make matching shirts for you for the cruise.
Shut up. They're going to be amazing
Yeah.
matching shirts.
Oh, they matched. They just didn't all fit. Okay, mine.
Everybody's in. Everybody's gonna be in.
Not my fault that he gained weight right before the cruise.
Yes. Overnight I suddenly couldn't fit into a child's extra large shirt.
Okay, I know the cheer weeks. Hold on. I'll look them up. Let me look them up.
Let me go. I'm gonna run and grab my piece of paper. I'll be back in like 30 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. You fill in.
We were talking about going on the Treasure, the Disney Treasure, the new cruise line, but it wouldn't be until 2025.
Awesome.
But we have to put our down payment September 20th of this year.
Okay.
So I said we're gonna have a booking party. We'll have a booking live.
Oh, that'll be fun. That'll be fun.
So
Yeah. I don't love the cruise because I feel so claustrophobic in the hallways and stuff. But plus when we went, the day we went to the Castaway Cay, storm blew in right around 2:00. So we didn't even get a full day on the beach. That kind of stunk, but you should have changed your shirt so you matched Janelle. What are you doing wearing that boring old shirt? Where did we go when you wore that? Just recently.
I don't know.
But it was like we all had matching different shirts to go with whatever, and you were wearing your Fuel Rod shirt.
I have no idea. Okay. Phew.
All right. I did the best I could.
Mike will get us the information.
Yes. Here we go. Did you see Unicorn said hi to you?
Oh, I did not. I'm sorry.
Jessica,
Hi, unicorns.
Jessica wants to know, can they be swimsuit shirts that make you look swim fit?
Yep, sure can. We'll work our magic.
Tasha, we talked about that. You'd be so scared about going overboard. You could honestly be on the cruise ship the whole time and not see the ocean if you don't want to. There's so much to do inside the ship. But you go out on the decks, it's not like the rail. I froze for a second, didn't I?
Yep.
The battery is getting low.
Okay, you're fine. You're fine.
Time to get my fuel rod out. But yeah, the railings are pretty doggone high. You're not going to go overboard.
No.
All right, hold still. Okay, see if the gimbal goes crazy with my fuel rod hanging there. All right. Whoops, there it went. I knew it was going to happen. Yeah, gimbal needs to be fuel rod ready. All right, we'll see what happens. Okay, here we go. Did you know?
Yes, there are swimming shorts that they fought like they disintegrate.
Nobody needs to see that with me. All right, I'm going to run through the 2024 calendar.
Okay.
It's primarily the front half of the year. When it comes, well, it's front half of the year when it comes to cheer. It's primarily the front half of the year when it comes to run weekends. Yes, that's the French spelling for Florida on Janelle's shirt, Jessica. That's funny. Okay, here we go. Ready? For the month of January, they have a Run Disney event January 3rd through the 7th. There's a cheer January 12th through the 14th. So that's January. Month of February is packed. February 2nd through the 4th is a cheer weekend. February 9th through the 11th is a cheer weekend. February 16th through the 19th is cheer. And February 22nd through the 25th is Run Disney.
Okay.
Ooh, I know something Leanne doesn't know. I'm like an extra special. I'm a cast member spy. What's February 22nd? That is the start of a Run Disney weekend stretch road trip. in the month of March, March 1st through the 3rd is cheer weekend. March 9th through the 11th is cheer. And then, according to Disney, March 16th through April 7th is what they consider spring break. We all know the spring break goes further than that into April. April 18th through the 22nd is a Run Disney event. April 24th through 29th is cheer. And then May 2nd through the 5th is a cheer weekend. And then last November 1st through the 4th is a Run Disney weekend. Oh,
Okay.
but you picked a winter time to go there, didn't you?
I don't think she consulted a travel agent.
You didn't,
No.
you didn't consult the right one anyway.
This is a makeup trip for her, so I feel like you know what I mean, Brooke. It is what it is, and you're going to be fine. As we always say, you know what you're up against, and you're just going to have to accommodate. And you're going to be fine, Brooke. You're going to be fine. So
We've been there during cheer weekends.
yeah,
I mean, yes, those kids are in the parks at times, but they're competing for a lot of it.
yeah.
Most of them stay at the All-Star resorts for those events as a part of their travel over to the ESPN Wide World of Sports Complex. You're not inundated with cheerleaders.
Right. That's what I'm saying. She'll be fine. Don't let it intimidate you or, scare you in any way, shape, or form.
Not at all. Brandon, that look is, are you sure that's coffee in there?
Listen, I had my mug, and the first thing Mike was questioning, what's in your mug? So.
Well, and Janelle shows a water-like substance, which, oddly enough, tequila looks just like that.
That brings in a lot of people, yeah.
I go back, this goes back, good Lord, I don't know how many years.
Pickle juice. That's in this one, Tasha.
20 years ago or so. We were there in October, and it happened that Daytona was running a big NASCAR race, which isn't too far from Orlando, and the PGA was hosting a professional golf event on the Disney property on one of the courses. We survived.
Yeah. Now, I mean, yeah, the beginning of NASCAR is always somewhere mid-February, in Daytona, like you said. That's always like the same weekend. Arnold Palmer Invitational is that same time. That's what it is. Like, it happens all mid-February because, it's a beautiful time to be in Florida.
Yep.
Yeah,
You're
Jerry,
right.
there's always something going on.
There's always something going on. And I think people ask you this all the time, Janelle. When are the parks not crowded?
Right. Never. Never. I don't know. The day of a hurricane. There you go. That's.
I mean, again, Disney can tell you historically, and I've got this information sitting in front of me. The month of August and September are historically the lowest crowds at Disney.
Yeah. And I mean, I think I said it the other day, one, you can Google Disney crowd, calendar, or talk to your travel agent, because Mike, he'll tell me, oh, that's a green week, that's yellow, like he has all that information too. So, or you can just Google it and, see if it's a good week. But there's going to be people, I think, the misconception that if it rains, people will leave the park. Oh, it's this. People won't be there. It's Christmas. People won't be there. They're with their families, right? All of that is absolutely not the case. That is when the most people will be there. People don't leave anymore for the rain. That doesn't bother people. They do. They put ponchos on and they keep on going. They paid a lot of money to be there for that time, and they're not leaving.
I think that the two things that in my mind are consistent. One is, and we've seen this, when the fireworks are done at the Magic Kingdom, there's a mass exodus of people. So if the fireworks are at 9:15 p.m. and the park's open until 11 p.m., you're going to have short wait times in a lot of the rides if you stick around. I think that's still a given. The other, if you're a northerner where 20 below wind chill is nothing to you, if you're there in January and it happens to be cold, the locals don't go. They don't go.
And you can tell which ones we are if we're there. We're the ones with the most clothes on. And everybody else, I'm like, they're crazy. They have shorts and tank tops on. And we are bundled up.
Hey, Brooke.
Bye, Brooke.
Yeah, so Unicore said last week of November, first week of December, and somebody else said first weekend of December. Yeah. So when you say last week in November, not Thanksgiving week and Thanksgiving weekend, but after that. So this year, November 27th is the Monday after Thanksgiving weekend. Another great day to be at the park.
Right.
That week would be a good week, kind of like October 2nd would be. The week of November 27th, and then that would be like the week of December 3rd-ish, something like that. Those 2 weeks are usually, air quoting here, lighter crowds. You're outside of the Thanksgiving holiday rush. You're well ahead of the Christmas rush. Kids are still in school. And you get the advantages of Christmas decorations there.
Right.
Great time to be there. And the weather's wonderful. Technically, the last week of November is still hurricane season. It ends the 30th of November, but it's really waned quite substantially by then.
Yeah.
The weather's great.
Absolutely.
Brooke, if you're still here, good night. See ya.
Yeah. And again, I mean, I would say a handful of times, have I actually had to maybe wear a coat? I mean, I can't, like I said, I can't think of maybe more than a handful of times. The rest of the time, I'm just in a sweatshirt. But to wear a coat, thank you, Leanne. We're getting ready to wrap it up. My husband probably wants to go to bed. But again, what's cold to somebody is wonderful weather to somebody else. So is it cold in December? I think it can be. I mean, and I was even talking about it the other day. And again, what's cold? You want to know what cold is?
Yeah. Where are you coming from?
Yeah, Manisha. Up north, right? Northeast.
I mean, if you live anywhere, I would say north of Atlanta,
Mexico.
it's not cold. I mean, yeah, if you live Mexico, then it can be cold.
Right.
Tasha, cold is under 75. It's all relative, right? I mean, again,
Right.
where I live, our cold is a wind chill of 40 to 50 below zero. So if it's 60 degrees in Orlando, that's 110 degrees warmer than what I could have here. So that's very comfortable. That's right.
Not
Jerry.
cold, not cold. Right, Jerry. I mean, again, Tasha said 75. We've decided, here in our household, 73, that 73, 72 mark, we will say we're cold. So.
Yes, there you go. I would have said 60 would be the number to me. That below 60 would be considered cold. 60 to 70 would be chilly.
Yeah. Yeah, so Manisha, to you, it will be cold, and I would consider bringing probably some layers, like a sweatshirt, and then maybe like a light jacket, and then maybe pack some gloves or something, because at night, if you're watching the fireworks, to me, my hands are what gets cold. So
Clearly, most of the folks on here are not going to come and visit me in the winter.
no.
60 is cold.
Shane was talking maybe yesterday, and he was saying something about how the weather, something about the weather. And I was like, you're going to learn about cussing on here and the word wind chill. I was like, Mike's not allowed to say that word.
Yep.
And he was laughing. Oh, hot hands. Good one, Leanne. Yes.
Yeah, the hand warmers are a great option. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Those are wonderful.
Yeah, so that goes to like the winter part of the packing list. Don't bring that in July. But yes, maybe December through February, you might need it.
So this again, where depending upon where you live, if you happen
Yeah.
to go down there in January, it's in the 50s or 60s. The parks are going to be empty. The only
Yes.
people in the parks are going to be those that traveled there. Locals are not going to go if it's in the 50s or 60s.
No. Leanne, that's a great, and I mean, the Speedway, that whole area over there, I can only imagine how cold it gets just standing out there.
Absolutely. Tasha, you've never seen snow. Wow.
Well, hopefully Snope, counts at the parks as snow to Tasha. I mean, that's what I would say,
I don't know. That's almost like saying if you go to the Caribbean beach resort, you've been to the beach.
Exactly. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. I know especially the Speedway CM that has a standout in the middle and monitor that makes sure nothing happens far out. I always like want to just, have a conversation with them or like make sure they need a snack or something because they're just out there all by themselves. I know, Brandon. When I go to the Frozen sing along, I'm always afraid of getting that Snope in my eye. So, well, now I know, Leanne. I'll just start chit chatting out there. So, okay, we will wrap up. If you're here for the first time, I'm Janelle. I think he's Mike. I don't know which way I'm going. He's Mike.
Am I pointing the correct way? That's Janelle?
Yeah. He's a travel agent. I just go to the parks a lot and bring everybody, smiles and joys from being at Disney all the time. And we do this Thursdays at 7:30. If you have any questions, you can send us messages on TikTok or Instagram or all emails, or you can join Discord, and Discord link is in the bio, and you can come and have fun with us over in Discord. We'd love to have everybody over there. Good night, everybody. Stay safe. And, you're welcome for everything. So again, we love having you guys here and, love all the interaction and feedback from all of this. But if you want something, I was going to say, and if you want something from Mike, in my bio is a form for him. In his bio, there's a form for him. And you can contact either one of us if you need to get in touch with Mike about any of your travel needs to the Central Florida area.
Yeah. And obviously we spent almost all of our time talking Disney World. I could do Disneyland, Alani in Hawaii, Disney Cruises, Adventures by Disney. I can do Universal. So if you have an interest in something, by all means, reach out to me.
Good night. Have a wonderful trip next week too. You're going to have an amazing time. So, all right, Mike.
I hope you get a good night's rest and you feel better tomorrow.
Same to you. Like I said, I already feel much better than when I woke up this morning. So I feel like rest was what was definitely needed for me today.
I read that it's like a 2 to 3 week period of time before that pickle juice really affects you. So that could be what you're dealing with.
You just want me to show it again, right?
All right. Thanks for your time tonight, Janelle.
Bye. Thank you.
Have a great night, everybody. Bye, guys.
Bye.